Good afternoon, visionary parents. Welcome to another masterclass. Absolutely power-packed masterclass. So, in the month of April and May in the Visionary Parents Academy, it has been about discipline. We'll be learning about discipline. We'll be learning how to discipline our children without breaking them, because discipline is it's an integral part of parenting. Discipline is how we shape children. Discipline is how we raise our children, what we do every day. And there's a way you discipline your child that breaks your child. There's a way you discipline a child that makes a child. We all want to raise children. We all want to make our children, not break our children. Today, I was listening to Yole Edochie said something on the podcast, Honest Brunch or so. He was talking about how one time in just 2 or 3, one day he said he wasn't going to go to school, and his father got super upset, and the father beat him, and that sent him back to school. He never said he wasn't going to go to school again. So he was trying to talk about, such discipline is very important. It helps shape the child. And I sat back and I was asking myself, did that discipline actually shape him? Did that shape him? Because we have seen how his life has played out over the years on social media. And I'm wondering, did that discipline really shape him? Because the truth of the matter is, he said he wasn't going to go to school. And there was a reason for that. He didn't talk about his father deliberately finding out why he didn't want to go to school, understanding the root cause and fixing it. He just talked about the father just pulling out his belt and flogging him. And if you ask me, I would say he didn't want to go to school because, according to him, his elder brother got a video game and he was interested in the video game. He was so carried away that he felt, okay, let me sit back at home and be playing the video game. That was why he didn't want to go to school. Now, what his father would have done would have been to discipline him differently. First of all, understand, why are you saying you will not go to school? When you understand that, you are going to realize that it is not just about school. It is about the mindset. It is not just about school. And the flogging may have beaten him to go to school. What is the mindset of? Because he didn't want to go, because we didn't have the discipline. He didn't know how to prioritize. He didn't know how to focus on what was important. That was what he was lacking. What his father would have done would have been to take that opportunity to train his mind. But what did he do? He flogged him and sent him back to school. So discipline is an integral part of parenting. Discipline is how we shape our children's minds, how we raise them. Discipline is what we do daily in our lives, what we model, what our children see we do, what we correct, what we allow every single day. That is discipline. Like I said, in April, in May, in the Visionary Parents Academy, we have all been about discipline. And during the course of the period, we got questions. I put all the questions together and there are 51 of them. So today, I may not be able to answer all the questions here, but what I want to do is I am going to answer the questions. If you can't finish the questions there, we are going to continue the answering question in a different way, and you are going to get free access to how we are free, easy, self-paced access to how we are going to answer the entire 51 questions. So there's no point even starting with the entire the questions. So I'm just going to dive straight into the questions and answers so that this class is not more than 1 hour. Now, if you are joining us for the first time, this is the Visionary Parent with Enime Orebo, and we are powered by the Visionary Parents Academy. In case you do not know, there is an academy, a parenting academy called the Visionary Parents Academy. It's a very vibrant and transformational academy where parents come. You just register once in a year. Your registration carries you for the entire year. You get to learn, you get to empower, you get to be transformed in your parenting. You get to parent with knowledge, with skills. You get to parent with the end in mind. See, I dropped something on Facebook yesterday. I said, when it comes to discipline, when it comes to parenting, it is not just about today. It is a long term, because every single thing we do today has a long term effect. Now, unfortunately, we don't see it now. We don't see how it is growing. I don't know if you know about the bamboo tree, the Chinese bamboo tree illustration that you plant now, you may not see anything until after 5 years and it grows. It is what happens. Unfortunately, when people behave, when things happen, we start blaming the people. We start blaming them. We start saying, oh, they should have known better. The truth of the matter is, you are not automatically who you are today. The way you respond to things today is not just happening now. It is what you have been programmed, what has been in you over the period of time. It is how you respond to things. I was talking to someone the other month and he was saying, oh, this is just who I am. I don't know how to pretend. And I told him, no, it is not who you are. You just have refused to grow. This is you stuck in one spot. This is you refusing to grow. It is not who you are. And I was asking him, if you have a set of twins, for example, a set of twins born into a family, and those set of twins are separated at birth, maybe one goes to the wealthiest royal family in the world and the other actually is raised by maybe a peasant in one of the rural villages, are they going to be alike? They are going to be certainly different in everything about them. So you see, when you say this is who I am, it is not who you are. It is who you have been programmed to be. And one of the very best things you can do for yourself as a human being, as an adult, not just a parent, as an adult, is to begin to confront those programmings you have received. Is begin to really understand who you are. Who you are. Because a lot of the things we have been programmed. The way we're disciplined, our environment, and a lot of it. And for us to be able to challenge who we are today and be a better version of ourselves, next month in the Visionary Parent Academy, we have a master class. It is going to be reparenting yourself. The entire month, we are going to dedicate it to pre-parenting yourself. The entire month of June, from June 1st to June 30th, it is going to be reparenting yourself. We are going to be talking about real issues in our parenting. And guess what? You are going to be having a free manual for that entire month. Oh my gosh. No, I'm putting the manual together and I'm just seeing a lot of how we are sabotaging ourselves as human beings. A lot of how we're programmed, a lot of the things that happen to us growing up, and how we have not been able to move past those things. So they are still controlling us, they are still ruling us till today. That is what we are doing next month, reprogramming ourselves, unlearning a lot of the things, uninstalling those softwares that were installed in us that are not serving us. That's next month. So what you want to do is to ask how you can join and join us for next month. It's just with a token you can join us for next month. So today it's about questions. Like I said, we got 51 questions on discipline, and every parent should reflect on them. So I'll just take them randomly, and as you progress in the class, I'm going to tell you how you can access the remaining questions, the ones I cannot answer. I put 10 on our flyer. We are going to be answering 10. That's what I put on the flyer, but hopefully we can answer beyond 10 or more than 10, and then you get to know how you can get the remaining answers. The first question we got was, what is the difference between discipline and punishment in parenting? You know, we always use them together interchangeably. I'm going to discipline you today, I'm going to punish you today. And when I asked my children in church one day, I told them, what is discipline? Now all of them were talking about, oh, flogging a child, hitting a child, and all of that. Now the major difference between discipline and punishment is that discipline is training, while punishment is designed to correct. So discipline is training a child, while a punishment is always, okay, discipline is being proactive, putting structures in place, doing everything to train a child. Discipline means you have an idea, you have a goal, you have a vision, you know what to expect, you know what you want. So what do you want to do? You want to deliberately put structure in place to prepare your child towards that time where that expectations is demanded of them. Because one of the things we expect as parents is that there is a point in our children's life we demand certain expectations. We demand them to meet certain expectations. Now, discipline is you understanding that, okay, there will come a time in my child's life, this will be demanded of them. So you put structure in place to train them. One time we were talking about this in the Visionary Parents Academy, and the parents made Coach Odegbami made a very valid point. She said something that when you go to university and someone asks you what is your discipline, what you are being trained to do, what you are being trained to specialize on, that is your discipline. So when she brought it to parenting, she said it simply means that if discipline in the university or higher institution is the areas you are being trained to specialize on, so discipline in parenting also means you training your children to specialize, or rather to be able to meet expectations that you want them to meet. That is discipline. Punishment, on the other hand, is not proactive. Punishment is corrective. You wait for the child to do something, then you begin to correct. Very many times that punishment, it does not build skills. Punishment does not build skills. Punishment does not answer questions the child has. Like, let's go back to Yul Edochie. His question was, what is even there? Go to school. Let me sit at home. Let me do something more flexible. School is stressful. School, I go to school in the morning and I come back, I miss out on game. What is the essence? All that probably were his questions in his young head. But what his father did was to punish him. That punishment did not answer the questions. Discipline would answer questions. Even before that day, discipline will provide structure. Discipline will teach. Discipline will explain. Discipline will empower children with skills to be able to meet expectations. Why punishment? With just what we do when we are angry, what we do when something has happened already. A child has stolen a piece of meat and you get a cane, you flog the child. That is punishment. So punishment does not build skills. Punishment just puts fear in the child. Punishment, yes, some people will always say, oh, if it works for you, do it. It works for me, I'm doing it. Yes, punishment may look on the surface that it works, because punishment would induce compliance, fear-based compliance. So your child will comply because they are afraid. Your child will do better because they're actually afraid, not because they understand what they are doing, not because they have the skills, but because they are afraid. That is what punishment does. Why discipline? We build skills in the child, patiently teach the child will understand what they are supposed to do and what they are not supposed to do. I hope that is clear on punishment and discipline. If that is not clear, then you can ask your questions in the comment section. I can see some comments already. I don't know where they are. What you want to do also, you need to tell me where you are watching from. I will appreciate. Where are you watching this video from? I will appreciate it. So question number 2 is, can a child be well behaved and still lack discipline? This question is very deep. When I got this question and I said yes, it just took my mind to the naturally compliant child, the calm child, the quiet child. Yes, a child can be well behaved and still lack discipline. A disciplined child is definitely well behaved. Every disciplined child is a well-behaved child, but not every well-behaved child is a disciplined child. You can ask a child to sit, and they sit, not because they understand, not because they are well-disciplined, but because they just don't want you to hit them, or because they are naturally peaceful people. So if you have a calm and compliant child, there are children who are naturally more compliant than others. If you don't know, I think you should go to this channel and look for our videos on temperament. Understanding your child's personality. It will help you understand what I'm explaining now. There are some children that are naturally obedient. They are naturally more compliant. There are different children. Some children are high in energy. They are just everywhere. Some, they are just calm. They don't want headache and all of that. So when you have a calm child who is naturally obedient, you may want to think, oh, this child is well behaved. It doesn't mean the child knows what they are doing. It doesn't mean the child is self-disciplined. So having a calm child, a put-together child, does not always mean that child is self-disciplined. So you need to understand your child's temperament. Know if temperament is what is working on the child, or the fact that the child is learning. Because discipline takes a while. It's a process. You keep teaching patiently, using your environment, reinforcing, teaching, and your child learns. So yes, a child can be well behaved and still not be self-disciplined. Question number 3 is, at what age should parents start teaching discipline? Ask me and I will tell you that what is discipline? It is training. So your child doesn't need to get to a particular age before you begin to teach them, before you begin to train them. They don't, because the truth of the matter is, when it comes to parenting, it is not one day. It is not in the one thing you do. It is the thing you do or you do not do every single day. It is how your home is structured. It is the boundaries in your home. It is what you allow, what you don't allow. They all come together to train your child. So, and discipline is training. So what do you want to do? You don't want to wait for a particular day, a particular milestone for you to start training your child. Especially when it comes to, because there are expectations, there are things you expect. Even when your child is 1 year old, there are things you expect from that child. Your 10-year-old child, there are things you expect. Your 20-year-old child, there are things you expect. And guess what? You don't demand those things the day they get to that age. You don't say, oh, I always say, age is not a standard to demand expectations. I don't remember precisely how I put it, but I always put it on Facebook. You don't wait for your child to get to 15, then you just expect them to automatically start behaving in a certain way because they are 15. Or because you have a neighbor and the neighbor's child is 15 and the neighbor's child is able to meet certain expectations, then you expect your child at 15 should be able to meet certain expectations. No. Age does not teach skills. Age does not teach experience. Age does not discipline. So what happens is a child who is able to meet certain expectations has always been trained, has been learning, whether deliberately or unintentionally, the child has been learning. So discipline begins when you give birth to your child. For example, in a home, you don't want your child to wake up and be rude. You don't want your child to use certain languages. From when you have a child, your language will be different. I see one of the things many parents do in church, I see, is they bring a toddler to church and the child is crying, and the next thing they hand their phone over to the child. They want to distract the child. You are training your child to depend on phone. You are training your child not to be able to self-suit. Everybody goes through one. Sometimes we feel disappointed, sometimes we are betrayed, sometimes we are overwhelmed and all of that. As human beings growing up, we need to be able to self-suit. We need to be able to sit with ourselves and help ourselves pass through certain situations. Now, when a child, and at some point as a parent, you will demand that of your child. You expect your child is able to self-suit. But when children are young now, you just give them phone. You are already teaching them to do something else. So when a child grows older, it's not just about the phone. The child knows that, okay, when I'm not feeling happy, I'll just get something. Maybe when I'm not feeling happy, I'll go and start drinking alcohol. When I'm not feeling happy, I'm window shopping. When I'm not feeling happy, they know that they can get an external thing to help them feel good. That is what you are teaching. And I tell you, at some point in your parenting, you will expect your child to be able to internally come up with how to get past a particular situation. So discipline, if you ask me, I will say from when you give birth to your child, day one, you start your discipline. From when your child begins to understand anything at all, they begin to hear, they begin to understand, you start your discipline. You don't wait for your child to get to a certain age. Oh, my child has to be 16. Then you start something. When you demand for a skill at 16 and the child has not been trained, they will not be able to produce it. Now, this is when parents come with questions and they just want answers now. I tell them it's a process and they are not happy, they don't like it. I remember a parent reached out to me recently, questions, and I told her we have to start with you, and she was telling me, I have 4 children, the 3 of them are not like that. That is the thing. The 3 of them are different. They are this, they are that. So one of the parents is, we suddenly just expect our children to be able to meet certain expectations. You have to start now. Now, this is why, as a parent, you must have your vision. You must know where you are going to. And when we talk about vision in the Visionary Parents Academy, we talk about not just when they are 40, they are 50, they are 60, they are 80. We talk about vision as the next major milestone of the child. We talk about vision as your child. You just gave birth to your child now. You know your child is going to go to nursery school, kindergarten. That is the vision for you? How do you want your child to fare? How do you want your child to act? You know that your child is going to go to primary school. That is vision. At 6, what do you expect of your child? You want to visualize, you want to picture your child at that particular age, what you expect. At 10, at 12, recently I saw videos. I made a video on Facebook the other day. If you're not following me on Facebook, go and follow me on Facebook. I talked about how I saw some videos. I even shared the videos. Boys, guys, I don't know the gender, using all sorts of things to cook in their food. Put weed in the food, put alcohol, a lot of things they put in the food. Now, I was telling my teenagers in church, I said, especially you that are on campus, when you go and visit a person, I beg, be mindful of what you take in and eat. Be mindful. Now, as a parent, your vision is you sitting back and knowing that, okay, my child is going to go into the university. And when they are there, they are going to be alone all by themselves. When they are there, they are going to eat. There are days they are not able to cook. There are days they are too overwhelmed to cook. So they go to their friend's house and their friends offer them food. So I want my children to be able to say, no matter how enticing this food is, I'm not eating. So you have visualized your child, say, oh, no, thank you, to a friend. So what do you want to do? You don't expect when your child is at 18 in the university, your child will automatically say, no, thank you. So it simply means that from the day 1, day 2, from where your child begins to reason a bit, you begin to teach your child. You don't eat randomly outside. You don't eat what you don't know how it was cooked. You don't eat what was not cooked in your presence, especially as when you are going out. You don't do that. You don't even make friends with people you know that are very unnecessarily experimental. They like the what is it called? The adrenaline pumpy life. You don't even make friends with those kind of people because they can experiment with anything, and they can also, there is a law of shared consequence. The law of shared consequence states that one person is like, okay, let me use a practical example. Daniel in the Bible, when his accusers were going to be thrown into the den, their families were thrown along with them. That is the law of shared consequence, because you will bear the consequence I'm bearing as a result of proximity. We are close, so all of us will bear the consequence together. So you want to teach them that even for friends, you need to start with friendship. Teach them how to make friends. Teach them how to be able to say no from when they are small. Why? Because you know that when they get to that certain level, they will need that particular skill to be able to thrive or navigate. So discipline should begin from when the child begins to understand patterns, begin to understand boundaries and instructions. Don't wait long because they think, oh, discipline only means punishment. Discipline doesn't mean punishment. It does not. Discipline begins with routines, consistency, structure, patience, and teaching. So what do you want to do? You actually want to start this. You want to start this when your child is very small. So let's go. Number 4 is, should parents discipline children based on age and personality? Of course, this is common sense. You discipline your child based on their age. You discipline your child based on their personality, because there are some discipline you give a child, and you are just wasting your time. He's not going to do anything. He's not making any impact. It's like a child. There are some children are different. So you have a child who likes to be on their own, a lone child. Then you tell the child, I beg, go, you are grounded, go to your room and stay. Excuse you, the child will be so happy. Someone like me tell me you are grounded, just let there be books there. I am super happy to be grounded, because sometimes I don't even like the too much noise around the environment. The same thing as a child who is who has high energy, who has high energy, a kind of a people's person. You tell the child, oh yeah, leave this house. The child will go and may never return. The child will get carried away. So discipline has to be administered based on personality, based on age. Question number 5 is, what are some of the signs that a child lacks self-discipline? How do you know that a child lacks self-discipline? Now, I absolutely love this question, because firstly, you will not need to discipline a child who has self-discipline. One of the things I teach my teenagers in school is that discipline is training. It's either you train yourself or you leave the adults around you to train you. Now, unfortunately, one of the negative effects of leaving the adults around you to train you is this. They train you with whatever. Some of them, they don't know how to train properly. Some of them, they are used to training the abusive way. So when you leave them to train you, that's why they use rods, they use harsh words and all of that. So what you want to do is to train yourself. To train yourself is means to be self-disciplined. Look at those things the adults are talking about. Your mom, your teachers, they are constantly talking about. It simply means that those are the areas you need to train yourself on. So what are some of the signs that a child lacks self-discipline? They struggle with discipline. Simply means that the ability for you to wait, that's my definition, and think through your actions before you do them. You must be able to wait. Now the thing is, when you have been able to wait and think through your actions before you do them, you have done this repeatedly, it becomes a part of you. You have built a system, you have built a natural alarm system in your brain. So even if you are not waiting, because you have followed the pattern consistently, it becomes easy for you. You just go and do it. So nobody may see you waiting. Even your body may not wait, but because you have done it over and over again, it automatically just rings in your head and you get it done. That is discipline. So in children, when you want to know a child who is not self-disciplined, a child who is not able to wait, who is not able to process their thoughts, who is not able to think through what is happening around them, a child who they are always interrupting, constantly interrupting, a child who struggles to wait, a child who quits when a task is difficult. So they are not able to pause and say, oh, why is this task difficult? Which other way can I do it? Or they are just angry, frustrated, and they quit. A child who avoids responsibilities because they are not able to pause and say, okay, I'm a member of this family, I should contribute my quota. They are not able to say, okay, I should also, this responsibility is training me. A child who blames others easily. One of the things I tell my children is, if you keep blaming other people, you will never grow. You will never grow. It is just the truth of the matter. When things happen, what you want to do is to sit down and ask yourself, was I a contributory factor to this thing? If I was, take your lessons and do better next time. Someone who constantly blames others will never grow. You just see yourself in circle. So if your child is always blaming others, you know that, okay, you need to up your game on nurturing self-discipline in them. A child who cannot handle frustration, any little thing they are frustrated. A child who only behaves when there is a reward or threats. Because there's threats or there's a reward, that's the only reason they behave. It is because they do not understand how that thing benefits them, how it is part of them. A child who resists structure and constantly seek immediate pleasure, that child lacks self-discipline. Immediate pleasure. It is why a child sees a piece of meat and they take it. They're not able to wait. Even when you have given the rules, oh, no, don't take anything that does not belong to you. Don't take things without permission. The child sees something and the next thing, they are taking it quickly. That shows you that that child still lacks self-discipline. A self-disciplined child is able to say, oh, this thing is not my own, doesn't belong to me, and they are able to wait. A self-disciplined child will not seek immediate pleasure. Lack of self-discipline often shows up before adulthood. The problem is that very many times as parents we excuse these things. Oh, they are children. Oh, they've been hungry. Oh, this. Oh, that. We give excuses. And you know what? Our excuses always seem valid. I remember one time a parent was telling me that the son, when I was still in Lagos, I was teaching in the particular church, children's department. So the parent was telling me that, this my son, if you tell him not to watch television, he will be sick. The boy was sick, and I said, why is the boy sick? 9-year-old. He said, because she took television away for the day, and by the following day, the child broke down and was sick. So the mom had to restore television. That is it. We are always giving excuses. Oh, he has not eaten since morning because of that. Oh, this is his favorite food because of that. We are constantly giving excuses for the next question is question number 6 is, can shouting, actually wanted to answer more practical questions because we got I had very many practical questions there. Can shouting make children more rebellious? Of course. When we talk about Parents will say, oh, if I play with my children, there will be see finish. That is why I don't play with my children. I always say to them, no, playing with your children will not lead to see finish. You know the things that will lead to see finish, like constant shouting. Sometimes the child gets tired. What is it? I am tired. Every time shout, 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 shout. Like I've said here before, growing up, I know a teenage girl that was fighting her father. She held her father's trousers and they were fighting. The father would drag her, she would drag the father because she was tired. What is it? What is it? Every time, every time, every time. So when you shout constantly, I've also been in a situation before, an event before, where the teenager was yelling at his mom. I was wondering, then I saw that the mom later was going to talk to the boy, was also yelling. So that yelling, shouting at each other was their way of communication. The mother didn't like the fact that the boy was yelling at him, but then it was what it was. So yelling, constant shouting definitely is going to have your child rebellious. There is no magic about it. So at first, what I put here, let me read it. At first, children may respond out of fear. Eventually, may stop listening emotionally. Some become aggressive. Others may be emotionally distant. Some only respond when voices are raised because shouting has become the normal language of communication in the home. That is it. I've heard parents say several times that, oh, my child does not listen until I shout. Oh, if you tell my child to do one thing, they will not do until you even if you say it 10 times, they will not do it until you shout. And I always say the reason is because your child realizes that shouting is when you are serious. When you are not shouting, you are not serious. So you say it first time, second time, third time, you are not serious, so they are not doing it. It is when you shout that you are serious. That is because you have trained them to see you shouting as when you are serious. Say, how can parents discipline without damaging the child's self-confidence? Should consequence always follow bad behavior? Of course, I just jumped that one because at the end of the day, okay, I said I have we are going to exhaust the 51 questions. Yes. So what we are going to do is I have all of them put together in a small guide in an ebook. So what I'll do at the end of the day, you send a message that I was in your YouTube live and I need the remaining questions and the answers to the remaining questions, and I will gladly give you. Like I said, it is absolutely free. We have an academy, the Visionary Parents Academy, where we empower parents. Yes, it is not a free academy. However, one of the things we actually want to achieve is to make sure we have as many well-raised children as possible. So this material is absolutely free. Of course, that is why we have this channel. That is why we have this channel to start. Should consequences always follow bad behavior? Yes. Why will you ignore bad behaviors? Why should a bad behavior? It is a bad behavior and a consequence should always follow. However, one of the things I always say to parents is that so many behaviors are not bad. There are so many behaviors that are not bad in our children. Some of us, we have been programmed to see certain behaviors as bad. So because you have been programmed to see them as bad, we just see them as bad without sitting down to evaluate. And like I always say here is we have been programmed to see certain behavior as bad, and we have been programmed to respond to bad behaviors in a certain way. So that just makes us want to respond. But not your child cannot be bad from morning till night. So you actually want to sit back and check the behaviors you call bad. Are they really bad? But if they are bad behaviors, yes, consequence must follow. Consequence is part of training. Consequence is also how you train your child. And consequence doesn't always have to be punishment. Logical and natural consequences, they are the best way to train your children. If the consequence has a natural consequence, let that natural consequence take its course. If it doesn't have a natural consequence, then think up a logical consequence for that particular thing. That is how you train your children. They learn by doing. Human beings, we learn from our experience, we learn by doing. And natural consequences and logical consequences are certainly doing that we also learn from. How can parents stay calm while correcting the child? First of all, this is one of the things we do in our Becoming Emotionally Intelligent Parent class. We teach you how to stay calm while correcting your child. Because if you don't stay calm, and you know, when we talk about staying calm, we are not only talking about, oh, as a parent, you don't hit or you don't yell. Some parents can actually stay calm and they are nagging. You nag, you lecture, you label the child. That time the child is already stressed. The child is already, because the truth of the matter is, for every human being, when you have caught a person in an act, when you have said, okay, you have misbehaved, naturally, that person's mind goes to either defense or regret. And in those two moments, the person is not able to reason. Say that defense, I want to defend myself, I didn't do it, this is not what you think. They go to regret and they go to, oh, how did I do, why did I do it? When they are regretting, their brain is stressed. So they are not able to process. You see, you're nagging and nagging and nagging. No. As a parent, and you know, nagging is when you say things you are not supposed to say. As a parent, nagging, we say in parenting, leave the past behind. Something happened last year. You don't need to bring it back. Now you bring it back because you are nagging. Oh, your child has made a mistake. You remember that's how they made a mistake 4 years ago. That was what they did 10 years ago. You bring all of them back. At the end of the day, you are nagging. So staying calm is not all about, oh, not hitting or not yelling. Nagging. Staying calm also, very many parents also use, I'm giving my child the silent treatment. I'm ignoring my child. You are not staying calm in all of that. Yes, like I always say, you can take a break, 30 minutes break, 1 hour break to process what has happened. But when you now leave it a day, 2 days, 3 days, that is you keeping malice with your child. They are not helpful at the end of the day. So yes, what you want to do is, when we teach becoming the emotional intelligent parent, we always say these things. When your child does something, always remember that as long as no life is involved, no life is under a threat, it is not an emergency. So what do you want to do in a situation where it's not an emergency? You want to take a moment. You want to pause. You want to do this belly breathing. When you breathe from your stomach up, you inhale, you exhale. You want to find something you can do in the moment to distract yourself. Drink a glass of water. You want to leave the scene of the misbehavior to make sure you are calm. The idea is to regulate yourself, because I always say at the end of the day that very many times it is not what a child does that breaks the child, that defines the child, that shapes the child. It's actually how the people around respond to it. That is what makes the difference. Now, this is why you can see two teenagers, you know, they make the same mistake. One of them will come out of it thriving. The other will be broken. Why? Because of, at the end of the day, how that thing was responded to. So for you to be able to respond in the way that actually trains your child, that aligns with your vision, you want to learn the habit of seeing your child's behavior as not an emergency. It is never an emergency. So what you want to do is to step away, be in a good place before you come back and talk about it. Now remember, the purpose of talking about it, when you talk about a child, is the purpose to train. And one of the ways to train a child is to first of all make sure the child understands where you are coming from, understands the benefit of that thing, what they have done. That is when they'll be open to learning. You see, the other day someone was telling me, I don't remember if it was my children, we're talking about marketing, and they were saying that, and they were trying to talk about something that people didn't know they had a particular problem until the person came. So the person the person was tricking them. They said the person, my children, the person was tricking them because the people did not realize they had a particular problem until the people came. And I said, that is marketing for you. So the person came forward, showed them the problem and told them the benefits. And at the end of the day, they started, I don't remember what particular advert we're looking at. At the end of the day, they went with the person. That is also what you want to do to your child, especially your preteens and your teenagers. You want to make sure when they have made a mistake, you are calm, because even you as a parent, you cannot have this conversation with them. You cannot get to this level if you are not calm. So you want to make sure that you are calm. When you are calm, it is why I said step away, do your belly breathing, drink water, Just step away, then you come back and collaboratively solve the problem with them. In the Visionary Parents Academy, we call it collaborative problem solving. You collaboratively solve the problem with them. You ask them what they think, why they did that, and all of that. So you need to always stay calm. And yes, you can stay calm before you correct your child. Children are immature, they are learning. Correction is part of the process of growth. When parents react emotionally to every mistake, discipline becomes about the parent's frustration instead of the child's development. Thank God I read this thing. I want to explain this because I've always talked about this. Very many times we force our children. The thing is, when you force your child, it becomes about you, because it is not just about, oh, let your child do that thing. It is so that your child will understand why they have to do that thing. That understanding will build trust, will build your ability to influence your child. That understanding will lay a foundation for your child to understand a lot of things later. I always say to children that everything your parents do, they are doing it for you. There is almost nothing they are doing that they are doing for themselves. It is the truth. They send you to school. It is for your own good. They buy fancy things for you. It is for your own good. They want you to feed. It is for your own good. You are unwell, they take you to the hospital. You are giving drugs. They are all for your own good. Go to church on Sunday. These things are for your own good. Now, at the end of the day, when you force your children to do these things, it doesn't make sense. If it's for my own good, why are you forcing me? The child may come to understand much more later when they are grown, but that is not what you need. You don't need them to understand when they are grown. You need them to understand now, because that understanding is going to lay a foundation for other choices they will make. So eventually, whether they are going to struggle, they are going to just live for survival, they are going to thrive, will depend on the understanding they are making. Because the choices they are making the choices now. Yes, in the future they will understand. Like when I look back and I say, oh, I remember my dad used to say a lot of things. And he used to say, I pray you don't learn the hard way. Because when you learn the hard way, you will suffer. Those were his favorite lines. I tell myself, I wish I knew then what I know now. I probably would have listened more, would have applied more of his teachings, and maybe I would have made more empowering choices and be in a better position now. I always say, yes, your child will grow up and they will know, they will understand that whatever you did for them. But the truth of the matter is, as much as you want them to understand in the future, you also want them to understand now, because it is that understanding they have now that we influence the choices they will make. And it is the choices they will make that will take them to the future now. If they don't make good choices now, will they even get to the future that they will now understand? They may not get to the future and they may not understand. So that is it. We should bear this in mind. So whenever you are forcing your child, just know that you are making your child feel it's about you. You are not influencing your child. Your child is not understanding why they should be doing the things they are doing. That way, it becomes more difficult for you to influence them in some other areas. That because it is not always in the one thing, really. It is not always in the one thing. It is in the series of things we do. Question number 10, is it possible to be loving and firm at the same time? Of course, it's possible to be loving and firm. Now, this is why I said we must allow logical and natural consequences. And there is something we also do in the Visionary Parents Academy. We have what we call My Family Constitution. In My Family Constitution, we have over, I think, up to 60 behaviors in our children. So one of the ways you can actually be firm and you are still loving is for you and your children to, you understand, like tomorrow is Children's Day. What you want to do is, after all the razzmatazz, the paparazzi, the things you are buying for them, the celebration and all of that, call them together. You are going to ask the children questions like, okay, what am I doing you don't like? This is what you are doing I don't like. We want to set rules and regulations around these things we do as a family. We want to have a healthier family. We want to have a more balanced family. So now these are the things. So these are the things you say I do. For example, you say I smack you, don't like it, I yell, you don't like it, okay. So it simply means that I am going to stop the smacking, stop the yelling, or stop the privilege withdrawal. However, you need to also play your part in these things. These are the things you do that push me to do these things or make me do these things. So what are we going to do? We are going to agree on how to behave from now on. So if you behave like this, it simply means that, like I always tell my children, every behavior is a communication. Now that we have set the rules, if you behave like this, it simply means that you are telling me to yell. Okay, don't yell. You are telling me to withdraw privileges, right? Fantastic. So if you do not want me to withdraw privileges, you are going to behave like this. So you have an agreement. If your children are teenagers and preteens, this agreement can be put in a contract. It can be contractual. Put it in a contract form. Let them write it, let them sign it. So at the end of the day, when they misbehave, what is going to happen? You are going to calmly but firmly remind them, this is what we agreed upon, so let's go on with it. Are you going to still be loving? Of course. So what are you going to do? Love comes in. This is even the best way to show love to your child, through discipline. You are going to empathize with your child. For example, you will say, I tell my children that, see, we already have an understanding. We know that when you misuse an item, it simply means that when you don't show responsibility towards an item, it simply means that you want that item to be taken away from you, right? Yes. For example, when we have a rule, we don't do gadgets, television, phones, anything. We don't do gadgets when we are in the kitchen cooking. It's a no-no. And the rules are not just because we want to have rules. The rules are actually, if you are doing television, you are doing other gadgets while you are cooking, the food can burn. You will not know. We know this for a fact. So because of that, we have a structure. There are times we do things we do. So when it's time for us to be in the kitchen, we don't do gadgets. We have settled that. So if I ever come in and you are doing gadgets while cooking, whether the food is burning or not, it simply means one thing. You have not learned to be responsible for yourself. You have not learned to be responsible around gadgets. So what are we going to do? The consequence is to take the gadget away. We are not yelling. We are not fighting. We are not doing anything. We are just taking the gadgets away. Let me give you a practical example. On Sunday, we came back from church. You know, when you come back from church, we just took off our clothes and you put them on the line just to air dry, for air to just dry or something, sweat and all of that. And my kids I was taking a nap and my kids were watching television, and it rained and those clothes were soaked. What does that simply mean? Now, because you were watching television, you were not paying attention to your environment. Because you were watching TV, you didn't know what you were supposed to do. So TV actually made you not to be responsible at that moment. So if you cannot use an item responsibly, we already have an agreement that the item will be withdrawn. It's not because it's punishment. It's so that you will learn responsibility. You will learn responsibility. So that is it. So what do I go for that to do? I empathize with them. When it's time for television, I'll tell them, oh, I understand the fact that you want to watch television. And if it's me, I also want to watch television. I remember growing up, we didn't have television. Television didn't start until 4 p.m. I remember how, once it's 4 p.m., everybody, wherever you are, you live, whatever you are doing, we all run to television to watch. And, we always look forward to our favorite programs and all of that. It was fun, those periods. Yes, so I can understand you want to watch television. However, television can come in the way of your major decisions. Television can come in the way of your life. Television can come in the way of you thriving, you prospering, you living a fulfilled and happy life. And we do not want that. People created the television and all the programs in them. People are using them to fulfill their destinies. So you can't sit back and someone will be using you to fulfill their destiny and you are not doing anything. So because of that, we are going back now to the drawing board to go and learn, for you to learn how to balance television and chores together, how to learn to pay attention to your environment while TV is ongoing. You see that? I will empathize, sharing my stories and all of that. So yes, you can also be firm and loving at the same time. Love without boundaries produces entitlement. Boundaries without love produces fear, resentment. Children need warmth and structure together. A loving parent does not excuse harmful behavior. A firm parent does not withhold affection. The healthiest homes are not homes without rules. They are homes where correction exists alongside emotional safety, communication, warmth, and correction. So yes, we have answered 10 questions and we still have like 11 minutes to go. So let me answer more questions before we wrap up. The next question is, how can parents discipline teenagers without constant conflict? I just shared that now. I just shared on that. Teenagers are no longer small children. They want independence, respect, privacy, and a voice. Parents will continue using commands, threats, control, and create resistance instead of maturity. Discipline teenager requires a conversation and less domination. Parents must explain values, discuss consequences, listen carefully, and involve teenagers in responsibility. This does not mean teenagers become equal in authority. Nope. But it means that they should be treated with growing dignity. I've explained already. I think the last explanation I gave works for this. Should rewards be used to encourage discipline? This is a question. Should reward be used to encourage discipline? Reward can, yes. I read a post one time on Facebook where a dad said he had an agreement with the son that the son was going to read, I think, 12 pages of a particular book, and if the child read that daily for a month, he will pay the child a token. So that was how it happened, and eventually the child, for a short period of time, the child was able to read a very many number of books, and eventually the child earned the token. Another parent in the Visionary Parents Academy shared a similar thing, how she would tell her son to summarize after reading, make a summary of this. The boy would say, "Mommy, I don't know how to summarize." So when they went to the supermarket, the boy saw something he wanted and they were telling the mom to buy. The mom said, "Okay, let's have an agreement. Anytime you summarize, you get a token. Anytime you summarize, you get a token. At the end of the day, you put your token together, you use it to buy this particular thing." And the boy was excited. Now, this boy that said he didn't know how to summarize, now because there's a reward, he's now beginning to summarize. One thing about rewards, like in token form, it teaches, like what this parent did, it actually teaches delay gratification. The child learns how to look forward. He's not the one that, "Oh, mom, I like this, so yeah, take." No, the mom did not give the child, even though she has the capacity to, she did not give the child on the spot. So what she did was help the child look forward to only that thing. So yes, however, you are not going to use reward on the long run. You are not going to use reward for a long time, and you are not using reward for everything. Every child in a family should have their responsibilities. Every child should be able to contribute to the family. So you don't reward your child for doing dishes. There are certain behaviors you expect. You actually reward your child for. You reward your child for those behaviors. And I always say, when your child has internalized, you are not going to reward them forever. I was listening to one of my mentors, Pastor Major Dokonkwo, say something one day. She said, "You come to church, say, come in the way you are to church, God will accept you." He said, after staying in church for a while, you came to church as a sinner, dressing half naked and all of that, or be half clothed and all of that. After staying in church for a while, and the Holy Spirit should touch you, and you should go and change your dressing. You can't be in church for months and you still remain the way you are. What are you coming to church to do? So, the same thing happens to your children or our children. When you reward them, you're not rewarding them for a life. You reward them. There's a particular thing you want them to learn. They are struggling, maybe motivation or anything. You just reward them. And after they have internalized it, you let it go. You can look for another thing to reward. So reward, yes, it is certainly, it can be used to. Someone said, how can parents correct children publicly without embarrassing them? This is a big one. We always talk about.
What will you celebrate at the end of the...
This is something we always say in the Visionary Parents Academy, that it is never an emergency. Correcting a child, yes, correction may be, there are behaviors you need to correct now. But there are ways, how we just correct children in the public, like anger, especially when we are not in control of ourselves. We just go into anger and all of that. And sometimes we want people to see that, we are we are disciplinarians. We don't take rubbish from our children. At the end of the day, we end up embarrassing our children. How can we correct our children without embarrassing them? There are moments when immediate correction is necessary. Of course, I just talked about that, especially if behavior is dangerous or highly disrespectful. I just talk about that. But public correction should be brief, calm, and controlled. The deeper conversation should always happen privately. Just like as you as an adult, you don't like being corrected in public. You don't like public embarrassment. The same way your child will not like public embarrassment. So what can you do about it? Your child has done something or someone has reported your child to you. You can just politely talk to your child about it. Oh, this is not right. You take your child away from the scene. After that, when you get home, you can do whatever you want to do. Do whatever you want to do. Give the lecturing, but in that public, save your child's face, save their dignity, because just the same way you like your face to be saved, the same way your child likes their face to be saved. So make that public correction, make it brief. Not like you just attend to that particular thing. Especially, you separate your child from that thing. You address that thing. If your child's school reports your child to you about a particular thing, one of the things that I always say to parents is that you can tell your school, oh, apologize, and tell your school, okay, I'll get to the bottom of this and I'll get back to you. Yes, I know that in this part of the world, people will look at you as you are spoiling your child, because this has happened to me several times. They'll give you the face like, this mom is spoiling the child. But it is not the case, because you know that when you get back, you are going to have it sorted out. What are common discipline mistakes parents make unknowingly? This is question number 14. One of the biggest mistakes we make as parents is inconsistency. It is why children still do the things they do, because you are not consistent with your discipline. Today you make empty threats. Tomorrow you put your foot down. Next tomorrow you are too tired to implement. The other tomorrow, I beg, their wahala is too much. You don't have a headache. You are not consistent, and as long as you are not consistent, your child will be confused, and as long as they are confused, they will not learn. It is why today your child will behave, tomorrow they will misbehave. Everything around you, look around you, look at your home. Which area are you not consistent in? I always say, if you are not getting results, if you've been, I know parents will say, oh, I've been teaching my child this thing for the longest time. Ask yourself, have you been consistent? Have you consistently taught that thing for the longest time, or you have randomly taught it? See, the truth is, if you have randomly taught it, you are going to get random compliance. That is it. If you have consistently taught it, after a while, it is going to sink in, and your child is know that, when you have consistently taught it, like you have a boundary, you have a no-go area in your parenting. So every single time that behavior shows up, the consequence remains. Your child soon learns that it is not negotiable. It's just like you live in an estate. 8 p.m. the estate gate is locked. No matter how when the estate gate is locked, the security man lives there. So no matter how you knock, nobody is coming to answer you, because nobody is even there. So what are you going to do? You know that you have to do everything within your possible best to get into the estate before 8 p.m. because it is consistent. But if maybe you go there today, they open for you, tomorrow they just warn you, next tomorrow they are not consistent. So that is going to give you the mindset that, okay, maybe today I'll get lucky. They may just warn me and let me in. So consistency, one of the mistakes we make in parenting, one of the discipline mistakes we make is consistency. Another mistake we make when correcting our children is that we are emotionally all over the place. We are yelling, we are smacking, we are threatening. At the end of the day, we are breaking the child and not making the child. We are not patiently teaching the child. So because of that, the child is not learning. When the child doesn't learn, they cannot produce. Another mistake we make is that we are constantly forcing the child. I always tell parents that one of the best things you can do for your child in your parenting, or for yourself in your parenting, is for your child to understand the benefits of whatever expectations, whatever you expect. You want your child to go to school, they know the benefit. Study your books, they know the benefit. That way, your child knows that, okay, this thing is for me, is about me. It's not for anybody or about anybody. So I just mentioned 3 mistakes we make. So let me answer one last question. What should parents do when parents disagree? Is in this manual. You come and get it. how do you stubbornly discipline stubborn children? How do you discipline a stubborn child effectively? I've got this question a lot. However, one of the things I want to re-emphasize here is the fact that if the children understand why, it's for their benefit, they are going to comply. Now, this is why your discipline should be training. When you call your child stubborn, your discipline should be patiently training that child. Move away from the labeling. It is a lot. It's a lot. Sometimes when children, even the stubborn children, many times they do not just say no to your discipline because they are stubborn. Sometimes it's because they don't have a connection with you. You don't have a relationship with them. So they feel, oh, I owe you nothing. And that connection may break because you've constantly shouted. You've constantly yelled. So see finish has entered. I don't care, do what you want to do. Some other times, we call children stubborn. They are not just stubborn. Maybe we assign duties to our children and they are not doing it. We think they are stubborn. There are reasons. So we want to understand why are they not doing it. Because when we understand that, it's easier for us to, okay, let's put structure in place. For example, like I was talking about television. A child who you say, okay, do this, so cook before I come back. And television is on all day. You know how television can be. They get carried away. They get addicted, carried away. Oh, let me just finish this. Let me just finish this. Let me just finish this. Before they know what is happening, you are back from school, they have not done anything. There are other children that they don't have sense of time. They don't have sense of emergency. You've asked them to do something, they just believe, in fact, I'll just do this in 5 minutes. So you need to sit back and understand. First of all, understand them. Then you have calm conversations with them. You have a structure and you are consistent. You are consistent. You are consistent in your words, what you say. You are consistent in your actions. These, I think I've shared 15 questions rather that we got today about discipline that every parent should reflect on. So like I said, I already told you how to get the remaining materials. So let's go there. You can reach out and you get the remaining materials. Now remember, this was brought to you by the Visionary Parents Academy. We are open for registration for 2027. Our registration fee covers you for the entire year. A lot of the activities we do, everyday community, book reading, our registration covers the entire year. And we have a program coming up next month, Reparenting Yourself. So what you want to do is to send a message on how you can either be in the main class for 2027 or be part of the Reparenting Yourself challenge. Thank you so much for doing this today. See you next week Tuesday. Bye-bye. So what again you want to do is to subscribe. If you have not subscribed, is actually to copy the link and share. Thank you. Bye-bye.